Well, hello. I'm about to share with you something that has been truly significant and important to me. I'm sharing with you my process, sometimes week by week or month by month. And occasionally there are those moments where I have an experience unlike any other experience I've ever had. And this one is so significant. I thought I would share it with you right away before I even comprehend its overall function. I don't know that I'll ever comprehend its overall function, but you'll see why in a moment. As most of you know, I'm engaged in a week-to-week experiment of practicing to feel the divine design of the cycles and seasons, the hours of the day, the weeks of the month, the months of the season, the seasons of the year, in a rotating, flowing sequence that you're all familiar with. The difference is I'm also doing that while sharing with specifically intended people. I've chosen to engage a number of friends, somewhere around 12 to 16 friends in varying degrees. I'm engaged in the process of making an agreement with them, an acknowledged understanding with purpose, sincerity, and intention that I want to feel what I feel within myself, around me in the times of the day and the seasons. And I want to practice feeling the other person more while acknowledging to them I want to do it and asking their desire to want to receive it and inviting them to have a mutual exchange of give and receive with certainty of intention. And part of that is a sincere desire to want to lift, feel, enliven, sustain, share. Lots of other words go along with it. This whole process of giving and receiving and developing appreciation, gratitude, and the willingness to spend as much as 3 minutes in a day focus on one person. And we have this ongoing understanding that I desire to receive what they're sending and I desire to send to them what I'm feeling. And it's there to lift each other up and then to ultimately use that as an appreciation of the divine significance of life. So the whole purpose around it is to ultimately share, access, fortify, and experience the divine purpose. Now, over the months of doing this, I've had a few little moments where I just feel sweeter about this friend that I've known for 30 years, some 40 years, some 25 years, some very new. But I notice I feel like I feel them. I like them more. I appreciate their existence. I express my affections for them. And I enjoy knowing their unique nuances of development. I enjoy knowing their irises, their birth order, their family tree, their symptoms, their dog's name. It's like how to really feel their life as it is for them and appreciating and developing this qualitative exchange of this. Most of them I speak to, say, 15 to 30 minutes every other week, something like that. Or we text or communicate in some form. But sometimes when there is a specific need, one of them is having a moment or an illness of something, I spend a lot more time with them to genuinely support, uplift, care about, well, learn to be an actual friend. Part of this is, for me, the significance of the friendship being a level 4, 4 being the heart, friendship being the giving and receiving of one's natural capacity, sometimes called natural love or fraternal love. And I don't claim that this is my access to love, because sometimes that feels like it's a little too high for me right now. But the genuine appreciation, support, teamwork, the playfulness, the celebration, the sharing of pain, laughter, changes of life, children, and experiencing that with someone, now I'm wanting to lift and fortify that on a higher degree. Okay, that's the background information. There's a lot more to it. But recently, what happened was, as I was doing this with someone, I noticed something forming. I just sat with it, and in my inner world, I can sense and see it forming. And what formed was, the only thing I can describe it as was a substance. A substance that was unique to myself and that person. So whatever the two of us brought together and created, this is the key part of it. We created something. We desired to create something that was not there before. And we desired to create that something with a desire to want to fulfill and lift and utilize it. In the process of doing that, all I could describe, it became a substance. And the substance had something of a horizontal perspective to it that was slightly higher than the 4, but not as high as the throat. It was just at about the level of a 4.5, if you understand the math. It's almost like this ladder. It existed somewhere almost at the throat, but was connected to something higher. Wow. Now, the hardest part of that was, what I realized in the experience is what we just did. We created something so preciously unique that it exists in a divine, sustained way. It is not capable of being diminished. It is not capable of being consumed. And even when shared, it is not lost. And there's nothing involved with how it can deteriorate. It doesn't exist exclusively within the range of vibration, because it extends into that realm that has no vibration. I know that's a whole nother subject, but no, vibration is a wavelength of oscillation and has waves to it, like cycles and seasons, and the times of the day are vibrational influences in colors and sounds and so on. Things within the senses. We're just beyond the senses. There's a place that has no vibration. It only has a solidity of oneness. It's timeless. Now, for me, that strata is level 8. I know this is challenging to consider, but what we did by the sincere desire to want to grow, create something new, was to access something that is eternally permanent. Not lost, not destroyed, cannot be diminished. Now, if we add a third person, it's not the same anymore. Meaning that what a third person does is now the three of us produce something that is completely unique and never been created before, but is completely unique. to the three of us. Now, if the three of us are engaged in about the same function as cycles and seasons times the day, and we're really engaged in this process about how that works, then we're creating something utilizing that, and that is now available to us and will be at the level 8 once we ever arrive at that. It's there, but it's not just there, it's already here. Meaning level 8 is not some mystical place at the top of the ladder. Level 8 exists all the time, all around me. It just requires that my degree or capacity to love be elevated to such a capacity to be able to actually experience it. It's all around all the time. So in this situation, what I really felt is that by doing this with numbers of people, like 10, 12, 14 people, I'm starting to feel that there is a level of permanence that is accessible. Now, what I mean by that is because we individually and collectively have chosen to create something beneficial to all of us, but we did it inside the physical dimension, inside the range of vibration and mind and matter. It's actually available for us to use it in the matter. So I'm in awe of the beginning to realize that we can choose to create a substance that is eternal and can be used in matter. Now, I can't tell you exactly what that means, but I am beginning to feel that it's possible to create a substance for the purpose of healing, uplifting, nurturing, caring, supporting, and all the other kinds of adjectives that we would like to live together in a loving community. What does it really feel like to have harmony and ethics and sharing and compassion and truth and fraternal existence and the ability for love of all living things, the love of truth even? I think it's possible to create that now by the sincere desire to want to be in harmony with this process in a faith-based, sustained way for the purpose of living in the now as if it is the eventual future. So I really don't want to wait until I'm past or dead to go up the divine ladder and seek out some sustained existence in the celestial kingdoms. I don't want to wait until I'm dead to do that. I want to practice living it in the body with awareness, with purpose, infused with all of the other facade-based realities of false belief systems I'm still cleaning off. I'm still cleaning hundreds of different false belief systems, processes, law of attraction, cleansing functions. I'm still doing all those. I was shocked to realize how little of my life I've actually created something eternal. It's rare. 99.9% of the time, we're engaged in the transitory. We're engaged in things that are consumed and lost. We're engaged in polarity contradictions of facade-based avoidances of one thing or another through some degree of addiction. We're all involved in it, far more than we would like to admit, but this subject is more about what I suggest that you might consider doing. Here's what I suggest you do. Find 3 or 4 friends that you would call friend. Maybe it's somebody from childhood. Maybe it's the last 30 or 40 years. Maybe it's in the last 5 years. Maybe the last 6 weeks. I don't know. But have a sincere, open conversation with them. And I would suggest that you just say, I want to learn how to be a better soul. I want to learn how to be a soul that appreciates the divine. And you can put it in whatever language that you want, because that's important. But I want to learn how to do that with you. I want to learn to know you, like you, care about you, support you more than I ever have, starting with gratitude. I'm really grateful that you exist, and you've been one of the key people in my life that has been a friend. Occasionally you come and go. It might be a decade when you're gone, then you're back again. We go in and out of situations or relationships or job opportunities. We move. Find those people that you care about and that you believe have the capacity to receive your caring. That's good too. Even if they can't give it back or don't want to give it back, or you're being silly, or you're being weird, or you're being religious, or you're being something else, try to seek out 2 or 3 people, more if you can find them. It's very hard to find a small handful of friends who sincerely want to practice a soul-based reality, to want to grow in awareness, in truth, in love, in compassion, and to share that process of climbing that ladder in some form or another together. Be transparent, be open, be giving, and do it for the reasons that you have right now. And then examine those reasons. Always keep examining your motives. Are you sad? Are you lonely? Are you doing this because you really like to have a soulmate, but you don't? Yada, yada, all the possible reasons. Always keep examining it. But make some kind of agreement with them. I really want to, if you will allow me to do this, I want to feel you every day. Maybe 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Start with something easy. Maybe you want to put a picture around the house with them or something. I don't know. Male or female, ideally, you'd be able to have one with both genders. Ideally. Do your best with that. But just desire, look, let's create something. An increase in our appreciation, gratitude, and caring for each other. I want you to know that in this world of feeling, I've got your back. I want to grow in love with you. Just expressing it is worth the time. If you can express that with 3 or 4 people, more if you happen to be blessed with people who are willing to practice that with you. I have some people, for example, I have a dear Buddhist friend of 50 years. We don't practice the same spiritual orientation. He wants to practice his devotion to his master, but we are long-term friends. We come together, we share. I'm not capable of doing the same thing with him, that we're going to the same basic direction, but he's a kind of friend at least I can communicate with. I'm suggesting, if it's possible, climb the same spiritual ladder with someone, several someones, and see if you notice after a period of time, and I would suggest you give yourself at least 4 weeks of practice. What does practice look like? Just sit, close your eyes or not, feel something about the day, the beauty of light, the nighttime, the moon, the sun, your own warmth, something beautiful about what you're feeling in life, and feel that person in your own heart and desire to want to send feel, exchange life with them. I mean, increase your capacity to care. That's what I've done. And the significance of it is beyond my ability to comprehend it. You mean it's possible to be able to produce an eternal substance that is created because we create it together? It's one thing to utilize the experiences of life around you, but to create something with the intended purpose of lifting, elevating, sustaining, joyfully happiness, health, friendship? Yes. I would like to do it more. And I'm engaged in it every day. I'm telling my friends my experience. I'm also sharing more, but I'm really encouraging you to create a little band of your own friends. And then maybe one day we can just find a way to connect these bands of friends who are caring about friends and exchange our mutual compilation or reservoir. This reservoir, by the way, is not like a battery that wears out. This is something that is capable of being sustained indefinitely. So I'm encouraging you to do it because I'd like to do it with you one day and your group. If you have a little group of 3 to 5 people and you're in a different language and you're practicing, it doesn't matter. I'd like to be able to know that you're doing that and share with you what my experience is. Now, the other really cool part of this, acting upon this and developing this in the physical world gives us the ability to take that level 8, which is a non-duality world, a timeless existence, a celestial existence where the beginning of life really is level 8, and to be able to bring that into level 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, to be able to operate using it in the deepest or darkest levels of our own personal reality, and eventually gives us a greater opportunity to even come into the darkest of the hells while having it. Maybe that's not an interest in you, but if we practice this in the material realm, we can use it in the material realm. I don't know at what threshold of accumulation that makes it possible. I intend to find out over the coming months, but here I am. I just wanted to share with you an extraordinary place that I really feel is worth sharing. Go love a friend, no matter who they are. Just give them a hug. Let them know you care. That's it for today. See you soon.